I was in a Mexican bar. Pretty good. Um, Wrestling news. Let's get into it.
Going on, guys, it is WrestleMania here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of the Red Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including why Raw is cutting back to 2 hours, a WWE superstar removed from the roster, more matches for Bad Blood, what Wade Barrett told Bret Hart, Kevin Nash buries Logan Paul, Triple H and Bret Hart keep things professional, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. And I, as always, won't recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good, as number 1, Judgment Day gets some momentum. Raw was all about the Judgment Day reasserting their power on the Red Brand. While former Judgment Day members Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest have some key wins lately, that changed last night as the Judgment Day sent Priest to a local medical facility, a reminder that Raw's rogue faction is at its most dangerous when backed into a corner. No feud is worth watching unless both sides get their fair share of wins and the occasional beatdown, with CM Punk vs Drew McIntyre being a perfect example of how to keep things hot with balanced booking. Number 2, good finish to the Wyatt Alpha feud. Last night's 8-person street fight match between Alpha Academy and the Wyatt Six was an ideal match for ending their program, giving Chad Gable and his team a way to deal with the Wyatt Six's toughness and power advantage, and also finishing their feud with an action-packed stipulation match. Despite this program being one-sided with Uncle Howdy's sinister squad getting win after win, it helped introduce fans to how the group looks when they step into a ring, and also clarify that they don't appear to have a superhuman ability to absorb punishment like The Fiend did. That being said, let's move the Alpha Academy into a program worth their time. Number 3, excellent use of Bret Hart. The WWE used Bret Hart well last night, with the excellence of execution popping the fans in his native Calgary. Bret served as a foil to Gunther, who praised Bret as his second favorite wrestler next to Bill Goldberg. Ouch. He also gave the rub to Sami Zayn and Zayn's quest for a title shot against Gunther. Number 4, touching tribute to the Gaudreau brothers. Kudos to the WWE for honoring NHL player Johnny and his brother Matthew Gaudreau, who passed away this August. The brothers were riding their bicycles when allegedly a drunk driver struck them. Sami Zayn wore a Calgary Flames jersey with Johnny's name and the number, as he played for several seasons for the NHL club, while WWE personality Jackie Redmond showed a memorial for the brothers set up outside Calgary Saddledome. Number 5, Natalya returns. Welcome home, Natalya. The Queen of Hearts' return to action was extra special as she wrestled in her hometown and gave Lyra Valkyria and Zelina Vega the edge they needed to defeat the Pure Fusion Collective. Number 6, nice setup for Wade vs Drew. And while Wade Barrett and Drew McIntyre are going to lock horns, that goes without saying, especially after McIntyre warned his longtime friend not to interfere in his business with CM Punk. Although Barrett works as an announcer, the former superstar stood up, standing his ground and making it clear he's not one to be threatened. There have been rumors of Bad News Barrett returning to the ring for some time, and a program against McIntyre could be a pleasant surprise if Wade can still go in the ring. Number 7, Adam Pearce shows backbone. A rare appearance by Raw General Manager Adam Pearce's backbone, as Pearce, who frequently finds himself flummoxed by the Red Brand superstar's antics, stood tall against Drew McIntyre, booking McIntyre into a Hell in a Cell match against Punk at Bad Blood. SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis' no-nonsense approach to dealing with talent is a striking contrast to Pearce, who can't deal with Chelsea Green, let alone bruises such as Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. However, last night showed that even mediocrities like Pearce have their boiling point, and a banger main event and major win for Main Event Jay. Did fans need a multi-week contest to determine Bron Breakker's next opponent? Well, probably not, but WWE seems just as likely to give title shots to wrestlers who demand it or goad a champion into granting one. Still, this series has given many of Raw's undercard players some time in the spotlight, and last night's Fatal 4 was the perfect finale, both in terms of match quality and giving Jey Uso a big win. While Main Event Jay may be a long shot to win, only because the WWE seems determined to give Breakker a long reign, fans will be paying close attention to how the match plays out in terms of protecting both men and whether the WWE is actually willing to give Jay a singles title win. Now, there was nothing bad, nothing downright ugly. Raw was a solid 3-hour show, and while nothing other than Bret Hart's return made this feel like a season premiere, Raw succeeded because it didn't ignore its active storylines by focusing on an abundance of guest appearances that traditionally do nothing in the long run to help the show. Now, Raw actually gave fans reason after reason to stay tuned with exciting matches, beatdown angles, and compelling promos. What did you guys think of the Red Brand last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at why Raw is cutting back to 2 hours. Atop of today's news is a shocking announcement on Raw that the Red Brand is switching back to a 2-hour format after years of running a 3-hour show. And now PW Insider's Mike Johnson is reporting on why Raw is losing an hour. Johnson reminded readers that Raw needed a home for the time between the end of its contract with the USA Network and its debut on Netflix. Consequently, the goal was to keep Raw running weekly, and with the move to Netflix and the bounty that they will receive for those rights, what the company was making for the short 2-month window, that is October through December, was not as important as keeping Raw in place through 5th January 2025 when they make the great leap to Netflix. However, does that mean Raw is permanently switching back to a 2-hour format? Well, according to Johnson, we've not been able to lock down a definitive yes or no on that. Some of the company have played coy when asked while others have suggested that they will have the ability to be flexible with the length of the show depending on what is needed that specific week once they move to streaming. So stay tuned on that. For years, some fans have criticized Raw's 3-hour format as too much wrestling, and for some time the ratings reflected this, with the third hour's ratings often decreasing noticeably. However, this was during the Vince McMahon era, and things have changed dramatically under Triple H, with every hour being booked effectively. It'll be interesting to see how Triple H books the show when it loses an hour, and who loses TV time. However, given the fact that some fans are angry that Raw is dropping an hour, it shows how successful Triple H has been booking the Red brand so far. Next up, AEW working with Fox. Could AEW fans see their favorite wrestlers on Fox? While it's believed a new deal between AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery is imminent, a new report from Fightful Select suggests the deal may not have an exclusivity clause and that Fox is interested in having AEW content. Fightful is reporting that AEW has been talking with Fox, although Fox has made no official announcement, and that content may air on Tubi. Particularly interesting is a note that the show may be seasonal in nature, which could make for some fascinating TV. Next up, more matches for Bad Blood. The WWE's Bad Blood PLE is shaping up as we now know about 3 matches for the 5th October event. The 3 matches that have been announced are CM Punk vs Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell, Liv Morgan vs Rhea Ripley Women's World Championship, and Damian Priest vs Finn Balor. With the WWE focusing on 5 to 6 matches, we know that there are more on the way, but who they will involve remains unknown. However, our next story suggests one major match actually won't be on the show. As next up, a big title match missing from Bad Blood. Now that fans know Jey Uso will challenge Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental Championship, where will the match take place? While Bad Blood seems like a good choice, Dave Meltzer is reporting otherwise. The match Breakker vs Uso is not on the pay-per-view. It's going to be a TV match. I don't know which week, but not on the pay-per-view. You only have 5 match pay-per-views, and we got Gunther and Sammy. We've got Cody Rhodes, which will be announced on Friday, whatever they do. And we got Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. And we got Damian Priest and Finn Balor and Punk and Drew. This makes sense because there are already 3 matches for the Red brand, leaving SmackDown with 2 or 3 matches at most. This also follows the rumors that the WWE likes to save a certain number of big matches for TV in order to make Raw and SmackDown seem even more important. Next up, a WWE superstar removed from the roster. What happened to Kiana James? Well, the NXT talent was drafted to Raw last April during the WWE draft, but hasn't been seen on TV since last June. PW Insider's Mike Johnson reports James has been moved from the active roster to the miscellaneous roster because she is
She's what?
is recovering from a leg injury that may be keeping her out of action for 6 months. We send our best wishes to Kiana for a fast and full recovery. Next up, what Wade Barrett told Bret Hart. Some interesting notes on the Hitman's appearance, as in an earlier report from Fightful Select, they suggested that Bret might be under the weather and unable to compete. While Hart did appear, it seems he needed a quick assist from Wade Barrett, who happily helped him. According to ex-user Juicy Steen, I think Bret Hart asked Wade Barrett where the hard cam was, and Wade calmly told him where it was. A very sweet moment. Now, under the weather or not, Bret Hart crushed it during his segment. Next up, Kevin Nash buries Logan Paul. Is Kevin Nash a Logan Paul fan? Let's hear it from Big Daddy Cool himself, who commented on his podcast.
That from what I heard, he's making like $5 million for a limited, and those other are out there making house shows. You. That's from the boys. I don't give a how many people are following you. If it said you had 24 million Rhodes Scholars following you, man, I would be like, dude, you are Jesus. You got a bunch of idiots.
Nash, who's often boasted of big money deals he signed for doing minimal work, might seem hypocritical for condemning Paul, particularly since Logan is known for his strong work ethic and giving 110% in the ring. Logan did respond saying, "Who is Kevin Nash?"
Yo, Kevin Nash is talking shit about you. I said, damn. Who is Kevin Nash? Fuck me? Fuck you. You're one of the old guys who is bitter that I am better at your job than you ever were.
And we think Logan Paul's first mistake was saying, "Who is Kevin Nash?" as you don't downplay a megastar like Nash, one of the most recognizable superstars in the world. And finally, Triple H and Bret Hart keeping things professional. And last but not least, Bret Hart's on-camera appearance was a smash success, but how did things go backstage between the Hitman and Triple H? Dave Meltzer commented on the Wrestling Observer Radio, Triple H was very nice to Bret from what I heard. A couple of people brought that up to me. Historically, they don't like each other, both of them. But it's a business and Triple H is running things and they don't want to insult Bret, so they have to show respect to Bret. So everybody was nice to everybody. While Bret Hart and Triple H may not be best friends, it's good to see both sides keeping things very professional. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including our review of Raw. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next.
You never know what to believe, but it is what it is. I'm again. We got like 2, maybe